Hey, yo, it's us from the hood. You want to see a black Snape? Welcome back, all you good motherfuckers. So how y'all doing? It's time for a weekly recap number 63. Jesus Christ, we've been doing this for a long time, haven't we, Ambassador?
Yes, we have.
Yeah. So, yeah, these are on their last days. Jeez, cannot wait to get rid of these ones. I mean, these were a gift from, or the headphones, folks. These were a gift from my stepbrother because he knows I like orange things for stuff and whatnot, orange hat and all that. But unfortunately, they snapped up here, so I got one of my beanie rags down here to stop this thing from digging into my head. And tomorrow I get better. I get red ones. So yeah, the headphones are no longer going to be orange; they're going to be red. But you know what? I still got the orange hat. So yeah, we're going to continue doing shit, but with better headphones. So with that out of the way, we're going to be talking about the Oscars. Did they break the law? Did they honor all of the dead celebrities?
No.
Odyssey's cast. Are any of them Greek? I mean, you might as well call it the American Odyssey because it's all so radically diverse. And also, Black Snape is confirmed and why this is actually a problem. So we are going to kind of get into it here. So before we get started, hello to Riot Kitty. Good to see you. And you're on time. Awesome. Orange hat with the red headphones. Yeah. You know, that sounds like an album cover. Orange hat with the red headphones. Yeah. And hello, Neozoic. Good to see you. And I know that Vanya will be joining soon. I didn't care about the award shows. Well, that's the thing. Neither do I. But there's news to be reported about them.
And they could be funny.
So, yeah. And yes, and we're going to actually kick some of that shit off right now. So, yeah, did the Oscars break the law? So, folks, this was an interesting question. Did the Oscars break the law? And so, yeah. We are going to have to share about
it. Don't they generally break the laws of good taste and style and class? Just saying.
They break morals.
That's true too.
Now, okay, now it's finally showing up on the screen. How the 2025 Oscars likely used illegal criteria to block conservative films from consideration. So here's the question, folks. Did they or didn't they? So let me know how my audio is if I start botting out and whatnot while I read this.
Yep.
Investor.
Yep.
Alrighty. If you were curious why a certain documentary film from Daily Wire's Matt Walsh was not to be seen despite last night's Oscars outperforming the winning documentary, well, last night, you can tell how dated this is. Despite winning documentary by 25 times at the box office, we've got answers. Although the 2025 Oscars were tepid in their TDS. Issues from the era of DEI still remain strong force in the background. A requirement for diversity across the board spectrum of creative and technical rubrics meant that the movies and documentaries that Americans loved were simply unfit for Hollywood's biggest night. Americans, of course, given the ultimate award with money and viewership. So, yeah. Starting with the 96th Academy Awards in 2024, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences implemented new representation and inclusion standards for films and eligible for Best Picture category. These standards, part of the Academy Aperture 2025 initiative, requires films to meet at least 2 of the 4 criteria. Um, um, that's a dick move, that Park Place. That's a real dick move. Become a VIP member? Well, basically, folks, to continue with the topic, because, you know, that's a fucking dick move that they just pulled. Fuck that Park Place for now on.
Yeah.
Essentially, though, you got to have diversity, but in front of the camera as well and back of the camera in order to meet the diversity. And now that Donald Trump has basically made DEI illegal, the question of the legality is whether or not conservative or whether or not the Oscars broke the law. Here's the thing: if or these guys had this stuff going on and already had their considerations done, meaning that, or I believe the nominations and stuff were made or were already finalized before Trump took office. I mean, when are the Oscar nominations done? In December?
Yeah, I believe so.
So
November or
yeah,
December, somewhere along there. Yeah.
yeah. So the nominations were already done, and Trump's law of illegal or making DEI illegal in the federal level didn't take effect until after he was in office. So the question is, did they break the law? No, they did not. The choices were already made during a time that they were legal.
Yep, but
That the
going forward,
DEI
that's different.
and this is the same technicality that got Alec Baldwin off the first time around when they tried charging him with the death of Helena Hutchins. They tried getting him on a 5-year charge but the law wasn't implemented until after she had already been shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can't enact a law onto something that had already taken place. You cannot arrest them for the law if they did
After
it prior to
after the
the
after yeah.
after the fact. Yeah.
Yeah, after the fact.
So, Ambassador, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think, or now that it is illegal, they should probably change things up? But what are your thoughts?
Well, we know that the entertainment industry, particularly out in Hollywood, which is its main hub, is very slow to change anything for the benefit of itself. Otherwise, all these studios wouldn't be doing as badly as they are, namely Disney, but that's a subject for another time. Do I think the idea of basing the movies on any other criteria other than the quality of the movie, the quality of the acting, the quality of the writing is foolhardy and is going to lose the attention of the public? Yeah, I do. I think it's dumb. I think having to bring in other factors other than what people care about the most is a waste of time. Now, I will say it, I have not watched the Oscars since maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, back when they actually nominated movies that the general public was interested in, namely myself. But it's it just goes to show that rather than quote unquote pandering to the majority of the public who support your industry and make your movies money and make this and in turn make the studios money, they would rather virtue signal and try to play to the lowest common denominator and the smallest percentage of the population. Do I think they necessarily broke the law? I think we've already answered that question. No, they haven't, because they did their nominations before Trump came into office and enacted the executive order that made DEI, at least at the federal level, illegal. But do I think, in terms of what's going to happen with the next batch of Oscars, what's going to happen there? We'll have to wait and see. Because there haven't been that many movies out yet. Granted, we're just into the third month of 2025, but I really can't think of any movies that have come out within the last 3 months that are really worthy of being nominated for the Oscars. That won't come until probably this summer, maybe late spring, going into fall and the holiday season. But we'll have to wait and see what gets nominated and whether or not it falls into the category of, well, this movie actually did well in terms of it was well acted, it was well written, yada, yada, yada. Or is it going to be based on the criteria of a bunch of nonsense that no ordinary person gives a rat's ass in hell about?
Yeah. So, my final thoughts on this. I'm glad to see the fall of DEI. Unfortunately, there are companies that will still implement it. And you know what? Eventually, they will start to feel the pinch. But when it comes to the Oscars, nobody cares anymore. They're irrelevant. Really? I mean, they lost, or they had lower ratings than last year. They had lower ratings last year. It's like, oh, well, we're not going to have our Trump derangement syndrome. Bitch, you guys had Pink on, and she literally is like, ladies, gentlemen, and every other gender, because there are definitely more than two. You think that's not a fucking dig at
it is.
The realities that Trump has reinstituted?
Yeah.
I mean, give me a fucking break. But here's the thing. Most of the people at the Oscars don't want people watching their shit if they have a different opinion than them. So we're doing what they want. We're not watching. So moving on to the other article. And thankfully, folks, that Park Place isn't being stingy with this one. But I am going to clarify after tonight. I just clarified this on X. After tonight, I will no longer be featuring articles by that Park Place. Because if they are going paywall, when people are trying to support them by giving their content out there, fuck them. You don't fucking force a paywall onto somebody when it comes to the fucking news. That's the reason why a lot of fucking news, nobody fucking watches them anymore. Because paywalls and shit. The news should be a free press.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts on that. And I'm sticking to it because, well, that's constitutionally sound.
Yep.
But after tonight, fuck Park Place. But this article does also come from Park Place because, Gene Hackman is honored, but others were not honored at. Yeah, I'm getting the thingy. Other celebrities were not honored at the Oscars. However, that does not mean that the Academy did not honor them. So let's get into this one. This one is from the now defunct Park Place. Shout out to Raven Redgrave, who didn't put this behind a paywall. WDW Pro, who had his put behind a paywall. Dick move. Oscars in memoriam ignores key celebrity passings. Actors who should have been honored were completely omitted from tribute. The on-screen tribute, folks. While the tribute honored major industry losses, including James Earl Jones, Dame Maggie Smith, several omissions sparked controversy among viewers. This happens every year, by the way, folks. Among those absent were Lord of the Rings Bernard Hill, Buffy the Vampire Slayer's Michelle Trachtenberg, and Ken Page, known as the voice of Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas, along with Shannon Doherty from Charmed, and Tony Todd from, well, pretty much fucking everything. That man, what didn't that man do? News outlet TV Line noted that the Oscars faces recurring criticism over who is excluded from in memoriam. And this year was no different. However, they also claimed it was par for the course. It's an Oscar ritual that always has a rustle of drama beneath the surface, said the Academy Awards authority, Michael Schulman. No matter what happens, there will be 10 headlines about who was snubbed posthumously, and there's nothing we can do or that can be done about it. Actually, there can be. Take out some of your cheesy woke shit and scratch some of that shit off your list, and you basically cut out like about a good hour of time for the in memoriam to continue. That's what I would do, honestly. Yeah. When major names are excluded it can leave fans and colleagues feeling as though their contributions were deliberately ignored. One of the most talked about moments of the ceremony this year was a tribute to the legendary actor Gene Hackman, who passed away just days before the event. Because of the status in the industry, the Academy found time to work in an acknowledgement to him, even if it wasn't in the in memoriam. Given how recently he passed, the tribute was a fitting moment, but it raised the question, why didn't Michelle Trachtenberg receive a similar recognition? While those two examples could be attributed to the timing of their passing, with both being just before the awards, others were harder to justify. Among excluded names, Shannon Doherty, Bernard Hill, and Todd. Also excluded from the segment, John Ashton, Michael Cole, Linda Lavin, Martin Mull, Nicholas Pryor, Morgan Spurlock, Lynn Marie Stewart, Olivia Hussey, Gwen Van Dam. Out of all of those, I only recognize Olivia Hussey as Juliet from, I think it was like the 60s Romeo and Juliet. Social media erupted with frustration, with fans and even other actors questioning how the Academy decides who gets honored and who doesn't. A recurring conundrum, yada yada. Basically, folks, longer story short, let's get rid of this. Long story short, the TLDR of it, the Academy has a list on their website of all the actors who died and their contributions, as well as their in memoriams. So, yes, they did snub them for the award ceremony. However, they are still honored by the Academy. And here's another question, folks. If you don't watch the Oscars, who the fuck cares about the Oscars snubbing the dead celebrities? It just goes to show you how more irrelevant they are. And morally irrelevant they are. Ambassador, your thoughts on this?
Well, I will say there are practically all those names I am familiar with because I'm familiar with the actor or actress's work. So now, granted, there are some that hit me a little bit harder than others did because I recognize these people for bringing entertainment into my life. They were entertaining. They, to one degree or another, they made me laugh. They made me cry. They made me think, wherever the case may be. Or maybe they just were in a badass action movie, wherever the case may be. Did I get overly worked up over the fact that Bernard Hill was not honored? Yeah, I'm kind of pissed. I'm not gonna lie, because that man was in 4 of the most profitable and well-known movies in cinema history, i.e. Titanic and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, granted, he was only in the middle and the final chapter, but still. The others, Michelle Trachtenberg, she was more known for her small screen work. Granted, she did do a few big screen movies. Shannon Doherty, not as much. She only did, as far as I'm aware of, one big screen movie, and that was Kevin Smith's Mallrats, which, well, just my personal opinion, I absolutely love that movie, but that's just me. I'm sure there are others who do as well, because I know for some people, Kevin Smith is somewhat of a controversial figure. Fair enough. But Shannon Doherty being left off, I mean, she was more known for TV work, but maybe they should have still done something for her. I mean, they obviously included her in the online listing, the online memoriam on the on the Academy's website. Olivia Hussey, I know of the version of Romeo and Juliet that she was in, but I've never seen it. But yeah, you made a very valid point just a minute ago. Instead of doing all of this, for lack of a better term, woke and DEI nonsense, maybe honor the people that actually did good work in the movie industry. I mean, I know that the movie industry has come under a cloud of negativity over the last several years or last few decades, whatever the case. I'm not saying that it was always bad, that it was always a bad thing to work in or a bad place to be in. But at the same time, these people worked hard because some of them were very talented actors and actresses. The era of the movie star, I would say, I hate to say this, is sadly, if not gone, is very nearly gone, because I'm not saying there aren't good actors and actresses out there, but are we going to remember them 30 years, 40 years from now when they finally pass on? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball to tell what the future is. But I can understand people's frustration about these people not being honored at the actual ceremony, and all they get is a mention on the Academy's website. I share some of that frustration. But at the same time, maybe the producers of the Academy Awards need to take a hard look at what time needs to be given to and what time doesn't need to be given to. And I would say that all of this virtue signaling and nonsense doesn't need time given to it. Honor the actors and actresses for their work. I would say people care more about that than a bunch of virtue signaling and DEI nonsense.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, Oscars, you're going to have some people who watch and they're the ones who are going to whine and bitch about it. And yes, you gave touching tributes. I'm not going to lie. But honestly, you are irrelevant. Now, I'm actually going to go to the Black Snape thing next.
Well, there was another one we lost last year. Well, it was actually a couple of years before, but yeah.
Yeah, Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
A while back. But
it's been a few years.
Switch the banner over. So yes, Black Snape, Papa Sadu is confirmed. And this is a prop. This is a prop. And yes, it is because he's black. But no, it's not because he's black. It's because of what him being black will mean to the story.
Yep.
So there's this guy on X who he makes the best and most poignant points. So we are going to listen to him.
Yep.
Yep. His name is Kaizen Asadu. Kind of the similar name to the other guy, Papa Asadu. So without further ado,
Severus Snape might be a black guy in the upcoming Harry Potter show. Is it because Snape cast a race transition spell?
Wingardium Blackiosa.
Or because he drank a polyjuice potion? Well, we don't know the reason, but it likely has something to do with HBO's goal of being committed to inclusive, diverse casting. Defenders of this casting choice are celebrating it as a step toward inclusivity. They also note that Snape's race is never specified in the books. Critics counter that Snape is described as a pale, pallid, and sallow-skinned person, none of which are terms that you'd use to describe the actor who's being cast for this role, Papa Asiedu. As for me, I grew up with Harry Potter. I remember waiting until midnight for the next book to drop. And it's also cool, as a Black person, to see Papa having success. We even have similar last names. And I get that racially diverse casting can offer new perspectives. But this is first. Harry Potter is a part of history. Many millennials' fondest childhood memories are with these characters. As a little kid in the Bronx, at no point did I ever think there needs to be more Black people in these books. Fans weren't complaining about Harry Potter's diversity back then. We were just happy to experience the wizarding world as it was. Making Snape Black might help HBO's diversity push, but it's coming at the cost of being true to the source material. And overlooking that by saying Snape's race was never specified when he was described in terms that you would never use for a Black person is evasion, not explanation. Now, if HBO wants more racial diversity, they can do it with characters who don't have such a defined physical appearance. But my bigger frustration is this. I'm tired of seeing shows and video games lecture me about how the world ought to be. I don't need a Black Snape any more than I need a Black Legolas or a white Mace Windu. And when you change one part of history, you affect other parts of it. For example, now James Potter bullying Snape as a youth has a racial dynamic that wasn't in the books. Is that now racist? Well, it needs to be reconciled. And if you think race isn't central to Snape's role, I agree. But we can't be expected to not see color on one hand while HBO emphasizes color on the other. HBO promised us when they announced this show that it would be a faithful adaptation to the books. This is causing us to lose faith. And even if J.K. Rowling supports this because her ideas have changed, the history she made hasn't. So please, to HBO and all of Hollywood, let us cherish our childhoods. Let us enjoy a fantasy world that is separate from the modern world, and stop using old art to serve new agendas.
And that's basically it. Let's get this off the screen. He makes a good point, but here's another thing that I will also add to it. Stop using Black people to support your, or because on folks, there is a trope out there that is, well, I can't be racist. I have Black friends. That alone basically is saying that you are putting them on some sort of segregated pedestal. Okay, they're your friend, but they're Black. Okay, Snape. He's a badass character, but he's Black. Or he's now going to be a badass Black character. This is why you really are, this is why it's a problem. Because you are creating the segregation just inherently by changing what already is established. Yep. He is described in the books as greasy. Do you really want to fucking piss off the Black community to a point where you are most likely going to see a nuclear explosion of anger? Now, there are some people out there, shout outs to Demogeny and Gospel According to Mark with a C. They are touching upon this as well with their opinions on X. But my opinion, and yes, I'm a white guy giving my opinion on this. Why are Black people being given sloppy seconds to characters? Why can't they be given original characters? Nope. We are going to say you are not worthy, or this is Hollywood saying this, you are not worthy of an original character. No, you need to be changed so that other people can identify with you because you're Black. They can't identify with you by any other means. That is basically what they're saying. They're saying that people can't identify with the characters unless they are the same color. They are still pushing that very tired, very racist narrative. Yeah. And I feel this is another good reason that people should probably get rid of their HBO stuff. I did. Prices got too high. And I also got rid of Disney Plus a while back. Prices got too high. And also, it was making me look like somewhat of a hypocrite, even though I always said, yes, I do have Disney Plus to clarify back then. But now I no longer support them, even with this through Disney Plus. But Ambassador, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I want to add another dynamic to this whole situation, because if we remember the original source material, particularly with Half-Blood Prince and the Deathly Hallows 1 and 2, it is also alluded to that Lily Potter, well, who we would know as eventually Lily Potter, I don't remember her, or I guess her last name would be, would have been Dursley, because that's
Lily James or Evans.
Lily Evans, was infatuated with a young Severus Snape. So,
Yep.
they are also adding the racial dynamic that a white woman rejected a black man.
Mm-hmm.
So, it isn't so much that James was a bully to Severus, obviously he was, but as has already been pointed out, now it's going to look like a white guy is bullying a black guy. Well, now you're actually adding the dynamic that a white woman rejected a black man for a guy who was essentially a bully, but I guess got civilized, or, well, maybe he changed and everything because of his relationship with Lily. That's entirely possible.
And not only
But,
that, you're also adding a racist element to Snape, or to a black character who calls Lily a mudblood. So yeah, now you're also adding, or you're villainizing a black person to that degree as well by making them racist towards, well, non-purebloods.
Right. But, here's the thing, and I will give credit where it's due. Jenna Ortega made a very good point back. I think it was back last year. We covered this story when she was talking about how people of different ethnicities should have their own characters be created rather than being given parts that have already been played. Now, obviously, yes, she played the character of Wednesday Addams, who has been portrayed previously on the small screen, on the big screen, even in animation, and so on. But they didn't make her ethnicity the focal point of the character. That made the character the focal point of her character and her evolution as a character, and they did it well. Ergo, why it's getting a season 2. But the entertainment industry needs to take notice that we don't need characters that look like us for us to relate to them. I'm a member of Generation X, for Pete's sake. I grew up relating to John Rambo and Murtaugh from, because John Rambo, as you know, is actually Native American, at least partially. Murtaugh of Riggs and Murtaugh from the Lethal Weapon movies is black. I liked its character, and so on. I don't need the hero or even the villain to look like me for me to be able to relate to them. And I would say that's true of a vast majority of the population of this country. I'm not going to say the world, but I'll say this country at least. We don't need a black Snape, or rather, we did not need a black Snape. Snape, excuse me, a black Snape. Me and Madam Ambassador have discussed this behind, thing just privately, and they could have cast a perfectly good actor who bore a resemblance to Alan Rickman, a young Alan Rickman. Adam freaking Driver. The guy can act. He has presence. He has, I would say, in some cases, similar mannerisms and acting ability to Rickman, for Pete's sake. And yet they snubbed him. Now, whatever the reason is, I don't know, but Harry Potter fans everywhere are not happy with this casting. Now, I'm sure there probably are some who do not care. Okay, fine. You don't care. Fair enough. But you're changing the overall dynamic of the entire story by the recasting of one character. Now, I do want to make one caveat here. I like John Lithgow as an actor. I recognize the fact that John Lithgow is an American actor, not British. And he has been cast or potentially cast as Albus Dumbledore in this Harry Potter streaming series.
That's confirmed.
Albus,
He is.
Okay. It's been confirmed. Fair enough. He's going to have some big shoes to fill because let's be honest here. Richard Harris and Michael Gambon, they nailed that part. They nailed Albus Dumbledore to a T. And I'm just going to say this just off the cuff. I don't give a rat's ass in hell if Dumbledore was gay or not. I could give two hoots in hell. He was a cool character. He was a cool, interesting, intriguing character. I don't care what sexuality he was. I don't think anybody really does at this or anything, to be honest with you. So I'm a little more lenient because Albus Dumbledore is described as, I would imagine, Caucasian. John Lithgow is Caucasian. Now, granted, he's not British. Fair enough. But Severus Snape was not black. He was described as white. He was described as a man with Caucasian features, not African American features. There's been sketch work done of what J.K. Rowling said Snape looked like. And Papa Siedu does not look like Severus Snape. Alan Rickman did. Adam Driver also did if they had decided to go that direction. I think a lot of people would have been very happy to have Adam Driver play Severus Snape.
Wasted opportunity.
Yeah, big wasted opportunity. You've got a guy who has
It's practically a clone.
In terms of appearance, I'll say yes.
He's a Snape clone.
In terms of acting ability, I would say him and Rinkman had different acting chops, if you want to put it that way. But yeah, in terms of appearance, yeah. And Sexy Goth Girl, I'll be praying for you for a speedy recovery, kiddo. Hope you get to feel better soon. But that's essentially my thoughts on the casting of Papi Seydu as Snape. I'm not happy, and I honestly don't plan on watching the series. I simply don't care.
No, I will not even have access to the series because I do not care to get Max. So, yeah. As for me, folks, yeah, just stick with what you have. Stop having to feel like you are dealing out some representation when it comes to characters. You had it already established. Most of the fucking characters are white. So what? Mm-hmm. By saying that we have to change that, you are also being racist in the fact that you are saying it is a problem that all the characters are white.
Why?
Basically, you are saying that there are too many white people. That's racist. By the way, for those of you who do not know, the global population, do you know who's in the minority?
White people.
White people. Yeah, we are a majority over in the United States. We are a minority in the world.
Yeah. Now,
I'm sorry to say, but there's no such thing as systemic racism when it comes to black people in the United States. Mm-hmm. Now, I could make this in a topic, but I'm not going to. Look up liberal hive mind, folks. He actually covered it. Over in Africa, there's actual anti-white systemic racism going on.
Yeah.
They can seize your land if you are white without compensation.
Well, not to mention, I'll mention this just in passing. There was a video actually came out. It was a flyover. There were literally hundreds of crosses lining a highway, and they were
Oh yeah.
the cross for every white farmer or whatever the case may be that has been killed.
Yep.
It was
They're
with
actually
with
going on a white genocide, an actual white genocide, down in lower or South Africa.
Yep. I'm sure
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela will be very happy. I say
Oh no,
that
he wouldn't.
sarcasm.
He'd be sarcasm.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks. So yeah, I don't ever want, or when it comes to Hollywood, Hollywood still has an element of racism to them, which is the anti-white racism, because they feel that they need to, but also black racism or racism against blacks too, because they do not feel that black people are important enough to give them original characters, because they are morally and creatively bankrupt. They have no originality anymore. Marvel, seeing how you're getting into universal level stuff, you have one of the most powerful characters on Earth in Marvel is black. And he goes by the name Blue Marvel. That dude is literally sentient antimatter.
Yeah,
I mean, if he wanted to, he could blow up the Earth with the tip of his finger. But yeah, they won't put him in. They won't put him in the MCU because that would just be too on the nose.
Well, not to mention he could nerf everybody.
Yeah, it's like holy shit. But yeah, moving on. I mean, Black Snape, man. Congratulations, HBO. You fucking played yourself. I mean, I can actually imagine how John Lithgow will look as Dumbledore, and give him the half moon spectacles and the longer beard and the hat, and have him looking down that nose at Harry Potter. I can see John Lithgow actually doing that.
Do the white wardrobing and facial appliances. Yeah, he could work as Dumbledore.
Oh, definitely.
So
anyway. I just hope he doesn't get sick. But yeah, hey, Junebug, good to see you. So moving on to our next one, or closing one before we get to our movie discussion. Banners. Where are the banners? The Odyssey cast has been revealed for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. He's going to be doing the movie that it took a two-parter to do with Armand Assante.
Yeah.
And many other characters.
Yes.
I will always love that version of the Odyssey. I mean, Armand Assante, the slaughter in the meat hall. Oh, I love that. What was our crime? Your crime is that you tried to steal my world. So yeah,
that's actually that is a really good line.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, go on.
And the bow of Odysseus is legendary, folks. Nobody could string it but him.
Yep.
It was so great. But yeah, let's see here. Richard Harris will always be Dumbledore. Yes, he was the best. I have never wanted to rip out an IV more than I have right now in the vein. But the vein
don't you dare.
Yeah, I get it. Believe me, I've been in a hospital and had the freaking shit. I have thick skin, folks. And that is not just a saying. I literally have thick skin. Getting a needle in me takes effort on their part, and it hurts like a bitch because I am basically a pincushion whenever they have to find a vein. They could find a vein, they could pop that sucker up, really get it going up there. The fucking vein will also roll.
Oh, dude.
So not only am I thick-skinned, literally,
you have rolling veins.
But yeah. I wish Sean Bean was cast as Odysseus, so he would return as Odysseus in a weird way, and that it would have been a sequel to Troy, which Christopher Nolan was considered to direct, but chose Batman Begins. I'm not going to, but it's in a fire all the way up. into my fingertips. Yeah, hopefully it gets better, Goth Girl.
Yeah.
But getting to this though, folks, we got our cast of the Odyssey,
The Odyssey.
and apparently they are delving from the MCU.
Yeah.
So yeah, the MCU is becoming the Odyssey. Tom Holland,
guess.
Zendaya, Matt
Let me
Damon,
guess.
all MCU.
Well, Matt Damon's not MCU, at least not yet.
Yes, he is.
Do what?
He plays the
right.
actor
Yeah,
Loki.
yeah. I forgot.
And he was
Okay.
in 2 movies, Ragnarok
Right, yeah.
and Blood and Blunder, or Shitty Blood and Blunder. But Tom Holland, Zendaya, Matt Damon is Odysseus.
What?
Tom Holland is most likely going to be his son. Zendaya, I have no idea. Robert Pattinson,
Calypso.
no.
Calypso. She'll be Calypso. I bet you money.
That'd be kind of pervy for Matt Damon to bang Calypso, then, because doesn't he have sex, or doesn't Odysseus have sex with Calypso?
I don't think so. I'd have to go back and rewatch the summarization, but I don't think so.
Well, they definitely do in the Armand Asante one. I mean, Vanessa Williams was hot as Calypso.
Okay, maybe it's Charlize Theron. Maybe she's Calypso.
Ugh, can't stand that woman. Anne Hathaway,
Yeah.
Jean Bernthal. Folks, they are going heavy with the MCU here. God.
John Leguizamo.
Ellen Page, John Leguizamo, Benny Safdie?
Safdie. Benny
Ellen
Safdie.
Elliott Page. Yeah, Ellen Elliott Page. Hamish Patel. Bill Irwin. Samantha Morton. Mia Goth. Corey Hawkins. Will Yun Lee. Jesse Garcia. Shiloh Fernandez. Rafi Gavrin. Nick E. Terabay. Jimmy Gonzalez. Maurice Compta. Michael Vlamis. Ido Goldberg. And Lupita Nyong'o is reportedly going to be Athena.
Yeah. That really caught my attention. They're even going mythological with the recastings at this point. The Grecian gods, the Greek pantheon,
BBC.
all
BBC.
portrayed as either white or Mediterranean, and you've got Lupita Nyong'o as Athena.
I mean, they say here it's TBC, which is to be chosen or to be announced, I guess, but TBC.
Yeah.
So, but it's highly speculated she's going to be Athena.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway and many, many others. Oh, it's like, holy crap, dude. Charlize Theron, John Bernthal. Can't wait to see him in Accountant 2.
Now, here's the thing.
Safdie. Go ahead.
I'm just looking to see what this base half. Now, John Leguizamo, I know. But the majority of these, I don't know. Now, here's the thing. John Bernthal. Okay, can you stop scrolling? You're giving me a little bit of a headache, bud.
Yeah.
John Bernthal, I could definitely see in this. Because he does have those rugged, semi-Mediterranean appearance. But let's be a little bit honest here. The leading members of this cast, I don't know how I feel about this casting, because you can't tell me that there aren't some decent actors and actresses out there of Mediterranean descent. Although I guess in the same vein, I could be going in the opposite direction of what we just discussed in terms of the actor who's playing Severus Snape. But I don't know. I've seen all these actors before. I want to see somebody else playing Odysseus. I want to see somebody else playing Calypso. Is this really the best? I'll say this. Christopher Nolan, he finally got his Oscar, and justifiably so. Oppenheimer kicks ass. Great movie. Well casted. But I'm honestly on the fence about this cast for the Odyssey. I feel like that maybe Mr. Nolan has drank a little bit of the DEI Kool-Aid, and his brain's gotten a little bit fouled up here. So, anyway, go ahead.
But I mean, do I think that he's afraid and worried about backlash, Christopher Nolan? I don't know. I can't really say much about him. But I do know this. He's a great fucking movie maker.
Yes, he is.
I just hope that he doesn't go down the woke road. But this casting, I'm hoping he can make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember where Athena comes in, but I do know that Poseidon was in the Odyssey. I do know that he also has to or he went up against God damn it, what was that big ass fucking Cyclops' name again?
Polyphemus.
Polyphemus, yep.
Polyphemus. Maybe Zendaya's Polyphemus.
That would be fucking hilarious. A gender-bent Polyphemus who is like 2 feet tall.
No, not Ellen Page. Zendaya as Polyphemus.
Yeah, a gender-bent Polyphemus was a male.
Okay, all right, I get what you're saying now. Okay, never mind. Although that'd be funny too. Elliot Page as Polyphemus.
I mean, no offense. No offense to Ellen Page. And yes, I am going to continue to call her Ellen Page because, well, I can legally do that now. I'm probably botting a little bit. I'm getting a low signal. Am I botting?
No, you're fine.
Oh, wow. That's weird. But yeah, we're going to get rid of this now. Stop sharing. You're a pain in the ass. But yeah. The point is, folks, I'm hoping the movie's good. I haven't even seen Oppenheimer yet. I hear.
Dude, you need to. And now he's botting.
And am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here. You just froze for a second. I don't know if you heard me. You do need to see Oppenheimer. It lives up to okay. I hate to use it. Okay, I don't use it. It lives up to the hype.
Yeah.
It is a
all right, I'll check it out
good
sometime.
Movie. Be prepared for
it.
It's intense.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good intense.
All right. When I say test, tell me when you hear it, okay? Test.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so there's no just making sure, because usually, folks, when there's a glitch in my connectivity, it usually creates a delay. So I'm glad the delay's not there, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So moving on to our last one, folks, it is the Beowulf Discussion. We are going to be talking about the 2009 movie
2008.
2008, 2007.
Yeah, 2007.
Yep, because this is the movie that pioneered the technology of Avatar.
Yep. Only Robert Zemeckis did first. He did it better. He did with the Bear movie.
I like the Avatar movies. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I stopped after the first.
But anyway, this movie, Way of Water is actually not that bad. It's actually slightly improved. Time for me to go. Have a good night. Right, Kitty. Sleep well.
Night. Bye, Kitty. Take care.
But
Kitty.
yes, this movie is based on the epic poem, folks. A lot of differences from it's about 70% accurate to the epic poem. there are definitely differences, such as Hrothgar is not the father of Grendel.
Nope.
Beowulf himself does not father a child with the demoness that is Grendel's mother.
Nope.
And Hrothgar doesn't jump to his death either.
Nope.
So, as for me, I like the movie. I love the movie. I think it's a great freaking movie. I thought that it did a good job with the censoring of the Beowulf Willie, shall we say?
Yeah, that was comedic in and of itself.
Yeah, it's like, this monster wears no armor and wields no weapon, so I shall face it as an equal. And he just drops Shroud right in front of the fucking queen, man. I love that. And I also like how what's his name who played Grendel? Oh God, he was in Back to the Future. Yeah, Crispin Glover, man. Hey, good to see you, fuck Norris. Good to see you. Lurking from work. Okay, well, people at work do not give him too much shit. You assholes. Anyway, but yeah, I love Crispin Glover. I mean, he just looks so freaking great. Well, his character looks so freaking great in this.
Yeah.
But if you notice the theme of Grendel and the son of Beowulf, you notice that it's the content of character in which determines how they will look.
Yep.
Because Beowulf is of a noble stock. He's a hero. His son is obviously a golden man and a dragon.
Yeah.
And you have Hrothgar, who is a very weak man. And while, yes, they sing tales of him, he is
past his prime.
Essentially, yes, past his prime and weak leadership. Because even the people in his town are starting to convert to Christianity.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. Now, I like how this movie does display the monsters. Angelina Jolie, you basically see her naked in this movie. However, they cover up the nips and the
vag,
shall we say?
The vag.
Yep, the vag. Yeah. How would I compare Beowulf to other Zemeckis films, such as the Back to the Future trilogy, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump, Castaway, Ransom Stone, 41, Polar Express? Dude does a good job. And I absolutely have all respect for Robert Zemeckis because he literally put that no movie or no remake or sequel to Back to the Future shall be made until he is dead. So yeah, he has a lifetime ownership to Back to the Future.
Yep.
And they can't touch it until he is dead. So God, may you watch over Robert Zemeckis and may he live a healthy, long life to 203. So
203. I like that. I like that.
So, yeah. So, but yeah, this movie, the guy who plays Beowulf does not look like Beowulf. However, everybody else in Beowulf looks like who they are.
Well, okay. Facial features, yes. Beowulf does look like Ray Winestone, but the rest of him definitely
slim down and athletic. Sure.
Yes. Yeah. Because Ray Winestone.
If this was him slim down and athletic, because when they were doing the recording, he has the keg. So let's just say that.
Yeah.
Now make your point, sorry.
Well, here's the funny thing. Ray Winestone, I hope I am saying his name correctly because he has a very manly name. A man who never tasted quiche. He was also in a sequel that nobody asked for, and I do feel bad for him to a degree, and that is, of course, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystals. Oh. I liked his character in that movie, but that's about the other part of the movie that I actually did like. Him in this movie, him and Brendan Gleeson, their dynamic is just it's broish. It's broish to 9,000%.
Yeah.
That bro
Bro
level
code
is over 9,000.
Bro level 9,000.
Yeah, bro level 9,000. And Brendan Gleeson as Wiglaf. Okay, before this, if I remember correctly, I think Troy came out before this. But first he played Menelaus, King of Sparta. Now he plays Wiglaf, Beowulf's best buddy, and damn, is he badass in both roles, whether it's live action or animated. But the portrayal of Wiglaf in this is he is Beowulf's right-hand man. He's the one that keeps the rest of the Geats in line. And I just gotta say it. There are some parts of this movie that are very pervy, but I would say for the time and the era in which it takes place, appropriately pervy. Because what is one of the things that Hrothgar says about his mead hall harrot? Of fornication.
Oh, yeah, merriment and fornication. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Vikings, man.
Yeah.
They know how to
raid. Yeah.
They raid, they fuck.
They raided, they pillaged, they drank mead by the gallon, and they fornicated a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I will say about this is the fact that you actually have the appropriate songs for the period, because they're they sing a song of Hrothgar, and they actually do it as it would have been done. Granted, it's not in the proper dialect, but regardless, it's very well done. The music for this movie, that opening score for the opening title card, is just so metal and so Nordic and so freaking badass. I almost wish this had been the score for Skyrim, but although at the same time Skyrim's score is awesome just on its own. One of the other things in regards to the score that I love is the song that Hrothgar's wife, Weloth, I think is the character's name, played by Robin Wright Pitt.
Or Wealthgow. Yeah, Wealthgow.
Wealthgow. A Hero Comes Home. I love that song.
Mm-hmm.
When she's playing it on, if I remember correctly, that's it's not a lute, because a lute's more like a guitar. It's a small harp. It's a small handheld harp of some sort.
It's essentially a lute, I believe.
Yeah, in American speaking, yeah. It's not shaped like a traditional lute. But that song is so telling of the character of Beowulf just in of itself. And I will admit, Robin Wright Penn sung it well. Obviously, she's not known for her ability as a singer. She's more known for her ability as an actress. But the way she delivered that song, very well done. And I think very appropriate for the story that's told here. Because, as you mentioned, this adaptation of Beowulf is about 70% accurate to the actual source material.
Yeah.
And the way that they framed the rivalry between Beowulf and Unferth, portrayed by John Malkovich, Unferth did call him out.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the flashback scene between the race out on the open sea between Brecca and Beowulf, and he fights all those giant, hideous freaking sea monsters. And I don't know where they got the idea for the design of those sea monsters, but damn, those things were ugly, but they were cool looking too. It looks like something straight out of Dungeons and Dragons. So that's just a few of my thoughts.
I would have said God of War, but
okay, fair enough. God of War. But anyway, that's just some of my thoughts. So go ahead, Orange.
One of the things I do like about the calling out of this is that he's like, by the way, I think you're a freaking, or I don't think you're gonna last night, or I think you'll flee before Grendel even gets here. And he's like, oh, I'm also, or what's your name? Unferth. I'm like, oh, yeah, I heard of you too. Didn't you kill your brothers? and then lie about it. Yeah, you're basically a basic bitch. And that's when that's basically without, or it's paraphrased, obviously, folks. But that's basically what fucking Beowulf does. The guy then starts taking jabs and swings at him. He's like, crack, just grabs. No. You're going to listen to what I got to say. You got to do your put your digs in. Now it's time for my barbs. I mean, you got your little digs. I got my fucking barbs, man. And I'm going to freaking show you exactly just how much of a bitch you are. Mm-hmm. And he just goes off on him, but he doesn't yell at him. He points down to him. He's like, you're a kinslayer. You're the worst of the worst. You're a punk. You're a bitch. And that's basically it, man. And then later on, Unferth comes back freaking crawling, begging for scraps at the table. He's like, I'm so sorry, man. I didn't believe you. Use the sword. And it's like, right. Grunting. That's another thing, by the way, folks. It didn't belong to Unferth in the comic or in the poem. I remember having to read the epic poem, the English translation. I can't read Old English at all, folks. I tried because they're like, you're gonna read it and you're gonna try to fight, and then you're gonna try to translate it. Or the teacher's like, you're gonna try to translate, and I'm like, my brain doesn't work like that. My brain's damaged. I am not I am not like 1,500 years old. This shit ain't gonna work. I don't speak Anglo-Saxon.
The most noteworthy person who ever did was J.R. Tolkien. He was one of the first ones to ever give us a English translation of Beowulf.
Yep, he was one of the first translators of it, I do believe.
Well, he was a professor of Anglo-Saxon at Oxford, so I guess that he would be the likely choice. Just saying. And you could also make just real quick, you could also make the argument that he was slightly influenced by Beowulf because, Rohan exists.
Yep.
So anyway,
very much. But another good part is years after the death of Grendel, when they're talking when they're fighting the Frisians, and one of the Frisians calls him out. And he's like, "You're a fucking coward." And he's like, "The gods will not allow me to die of old age. They will not allow me to die in battle or out at sea." I mean, and you want to know why? Because he strips his armor off. He rips his shirt open. He's like, "Come on, fucking kill me." Gives the dude an axe. And the guy
can't do it.
He has honor. He can't do it because he has honor. He's like, "Give him a sword or else you'll what? Kill me? Go on, do it. Kill me. Kill me." And then the guy kneels because he can't do it. He can't kill an unarmed person. And also think of what the tale will be if he goes home with the tale of how he slayed the mighty Beowulf. I killed him when he had no weapon. Okay, you're a murderer.
Yep.
So he's like, and so he takes the axe. And he's like, "Listen, my friend, there's a reason why you can't kill me. It's because I died many years ago when I was young, and I made a mistake."
Yeah.
He basically admits his shame right then and there. Now, for somebody to do exactly that, to strike down anybody who is unarmed, no offense, sexy goth girl, but if you are going to kill a person who is unarmed to try to gain some sort of notoriety, it won't work. No. You will always forever be tainted as a murderer. Yeah. And in that time period, the second you stepped home and you admitted that kind of thing, they'd kill you on the spot.
Yep.
They'd kill you on the spot. Back in those days, if you murdered somebody, especially somebody of high repute, and they had no weapon, and yet you struck them down, they would kill you because you shamed not just yourself, but you shamed your entire people. Not just your family, but your entire country. because then people will only look on at your countrymen as nothing but murderers.
Yep.
I found okay. It makes it feel like I'm not on fire. But yeah, it's just oi. I don't know if you have seen the Ray Winston question. How would I compare his Beowulf with other roles such as The Departed, Indiana Jones? I have not seen a lot of the stuff he was in, so I really can't make a comparison. I'm sorry.
I can, however, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I will say, of those three particular roles, because I've seen The Departed, I sadly saw Kingdom of the Crystals, and obviously I've seen this. I actually went to see this with a buddy of mine when it came out in 07 at our local IMAX, and it was in 3D, and damn, was that thing cool ass in 3D. I can actually still remember, watching it even today, which shots they emphasize more so in the 3D aspect. But in terms of Weinstein's performance here, granted, it's him, but it's not exactly him. But I will say it, I think he portrayed Beowulf in a way that was a lot, I will say, compared to the epic poem, is, I think, a lot more relatable to people of this era, but also is accurate to the time in which the original story was told. I mean, obviously, Zemeckis added some plot details and plot points to make the story, I think, more relatable to people. And I think that was a good thing in this case. This adaptation, it's like we said, 70% faithful to the source material, and not just what the stuff that they changed, but that's also the themes that they added or the themes that they kept. Because what Beowulf says to his wife before he goes to face the dragon, his son, is keep a memory of me. Not as a hero, not as a king, but just as a man. Flawed and imperfect. Yeah. I think that's one of the best lines of this entire movie.
Yeah.
And in terms of Weinstein's performance, if I were going to rank them, it would definitely be Beowulf first, then The Departed, then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Because while I didn't care for the movie in its totality, his particular character I did like.
Yeah.
So that's my perspective on Ray Weinstein's performances.
And that's the thing about in this movie, Queen Wealthgal, or Wealthau, however you say her name, she doesn't sleep with Hrothgar. She's like, I cannot sleep with you knowing you slept with her.
Yep.
And the same thing, basically, she doesn't sleep with Beowulf either. But she does love Beowulf. She actually does love him. She doesn't sleep with him, knowing he most likely did the same thing.
The Hrothgar did. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, here's the thing, folks. Would you or wouldn't you? Would you fuck an evil monster chick and give her a kid? Or would you not? Now, folks, in the original poem, Beowulf is indeed a hero.
Yeah.
He slays that bitch. He doesn't fuck her, he slays her.
Yeah.
He chops her freaking head off with a giant sword. Because Hrunting basically shattered against her.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they have this is that Grendel and his mother are essentially descendants of Cain from the Bible. And that makes me have a bit of a let's see here, a bit of a theory. I believe that because Grendel's mother is never named in the poem, it's simply Grendel's mother. I believe she might actually be Lilith. Yep. I believe she might actually be Lilith. In some biblical tales, folks, she was the first wife of Adam.
Yeah.
And she rejected Eden due to not wanting to be, or she wanted to be seen as an equal. And so she fled Eden and became corrupted by evil. Now, there is also speculation that she was actually the father of Cain, or mother of Cain, rather, due to the fact that Cain slew Abel and therefore had evil in his heart. Well, she already was also evil. So, yeah.
Yeah.
The point is, that's my theory, is that she is actually most likely Lilith, who may have actually, I mean, essentially, folks, evil is sin and sin is evil. So,
Yeah. She is sin personified.
Yeah, she is sin personified because she is always tempting the future kings. The end of the movie, Brendan Gleeson is the king.
Yeah. Wiglaf.
Yep, Wiglaf is king because because Beowulf had no heirs except for the monster, which he had to kill.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see her kiss Beowulf until his Viking funeral finishes. Then she comes up above the waves and trying to tempt Wiglaf tempt him. And you don't see the final bit of it.
No.
You see that he's just looking at her and she's looking back. And it's like, will he be weak like the rest? Or will he be, as he always has, a voice of reason? Or a man of reason?
Now, obviously, this is just theory. But I think, seeing what happened to Beowulf, he's going to know better. Because him and Beowulf were best friends. I would almost say they were, to use the old adage, they were probably kinsmen to some degree.
Yep.
And seeing the regret, seeing the remorse, seeing everything that Beowulf went through, Wiglaf wouldn't make the same choice. He probably chucked that damn horn at Grendel's mother and said, "Go screw yourself."
Pretty much. I mean, I'm willing to bet that if they had continued it, he would have went like this. He holding it, looking at her, back down at this, and he would have just chucked it at her into the water, and then left, because she cannot kill him.
Nope.
She wouldn't kill him because she has to be wronged in order to kill.
And she wasn't. He didn't wrong her. Yeah.
Nope. He didn't wrong her.
Now, here's the interesting thing, too. You mentioned the Queen loved Beowulf. This is true.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I love, here's the thing that I like about this. She would have been completely in the right to completely spurn and disparage Beowulf's mistress, his much younger mistress. No, not underage, but younger.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't. She's like, you don't have to hide, girl. I'm not going to eat you. And the girl asks, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she's like, what happened? She's like, between me and Beowulf, too many secrets.
Yep.
But she's like, you still love him? And she's like, yes, I will always love him. But there was just too many secrets between the two of us. And, the conversation between Wealhtheow and Beowulf before he goes to fight his son, the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Why don't we just wait for another hero?" He's like, "No, it ends with me." Yep. And in that moment, I think Beowulf does regain some of his noble nature, some of his heroic nature. Granted, he never stops being the hero, but he's a tainted hero at this point.
Yeah.
He's a tainted king. Yeah, his kingdom has flourished and endured and become great, and his name has become great and well known. And one of the other things I like is there are a couple of points in this movie where it does go a bit meta, where Grendel's mother says to Beowulf, "I will weave the greatest song ever. Your name will be known as the greatest song ever sung." And we still, thousands of years later, still talk about the Epic of Beowulf.
Yep.
And I like that
1,500 years later.
Yeah. And I like the fact that Zemeckis added in that bit of metatextual
context.
Yeah, into the movie. Because we were once a civilization, or many civilizations, that glamorized the hero. And we still do to this day. It's just the hero wears armor, he wears a bat suit. He goes by many names. It's like the whole thing with Campbell, the hero with 1,000 faces. Beowulf was essentially the archetype of the hero. Or you could even say that Gilgamesh, the epic Gilgamesh, was the first hero. The first hero with 1,000 faces. Flawed, imperfect, but there was something inherently noble about him. This is true of also of Beowulf. And yeah, I know I'm going a little bit deeper than maybe we wanted to, and I'm sorry, but I like this movie. I like the concept behind it.
Same here.
And I like what Zemeckis did with this movie. He was willing to take a risk on an unknown technology at the time. Motion capture was very much in its infancy when he did this movie. It wasn't a perfected technology yet. Granted, it's still being tinkered with, but I would say it's almost completely perfected at this point. Mocap is. And Zemeckis took a risk. But that's what makes Zemeckis a great director. He's a risk taker. He's willing to try out something new and something different. And if it wasn't for motion capture, we wouldn't have some of the really great moments in cinema that we've gotten over the last 10, 15 years.
Yep.
Just saying.
Neozoic, how would you compare Beowulf with other 2007 Paramount and Warner Brothers films such as Transformers, 300? Was 300? Was that 2007?
I can tell you.
Order of the Phoenix, Shrek the Third, and I Am Legend. It ranks up there. It ranks up there. Oh my God. Forrest Whitaker's in talks to play Mad Eye Moody.
Oh dear Lord, no.
Is that because he has that is that because he has the funny eye?
He has palsy in one eye. I think he does.
Yeah. Is that because he has the palsy?
I hope
folks, that's just wrong. Oh my God. But anyway, getting back to this, it's up there.
What was the Orange? What was the first movie that was listed by Neozoic?
Transformers.
Okay, Transformers. There was another one in there. Iron Man. Iron Man came out a year after, I think, because Iron Man came out in 2008.
Yep. Order of the Phoenix. I Am Legend. Zodiac.
Okay. Anyway. Oh, 300. That was it. 300.
Yep.
Where are you? Go ahead. I'm just looking. 2007. Yeah, it came out the same year.
Oh wow. Okay, I thought it was out 4 years earlier. But getting back to this,
yeah, go ahead.
It's up there. I honestly like this movie better than most of those named. As much as I love 300, Transformers, the first one.
Yeah.
Take out a few cringy moments, and it does just fine. I Am Legend, good movie, but fucking weird looking people or weird looking phages. Shrek the Third, that one could have been a little better, but also I do want to. Or speaking of Shrek the Third, a lot of people. This should have been a topic. I'm sorry, it wasn't. A lot of people are bitching about the change in animation style. Here's something that a lot of those idiots are not taking into account. You know what? DreamWorks. Everybody knows DreamWorks. It doesn't fucking exist anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately.
DreamWorks animation is gone. They shut down. They went belly up, which means they probably didn't think to save their animation style for a later use because they were belly up. So they had to go back to the drawing board to make Shrek and Donkey and all of them. And so they are going to look a little different. And people are trying to say, he has more feminine features. What the fuck?
No, let me. Can I weigh in on this just real quick?
Yeah.
There's also a little thing called advancement of technology. The CGI has gotten better since 2001.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if
I mean,
you
I'm
look,
sorry,
okay,
folks. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well,
No,
just
you
look
go.
at this movie. Look at Beowulf, 2007. This CGI still holds up extremely well.
Yeah.
It does. It holds up extremely well. So Shrek and Donkey and Fiona are going to look about 50%. I'm going to be generous and say 50% different from what we saw them in the last movie. Granted, I still have not seen the last movie, but regardless. So they're going to look a little bit different. Does that go make the movie any less worth watching? Well, we'll have to wait for a full trailer to see if people want another Shrek movie. I don't know how the last one did, but I stopped after the third one. I liked the third one. Don't misunderstand me. I like the Shrek franchise. But I stopped after the third one.
I mean, what is
Just a
this one?
personal
The
preference.
6th or the 7th or the 8th?
No,
How
fifth,
many fucking
fifth.
Shrek movies did they make?
This is number 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 5.
Well, the thing is, folks, I got to watch Shrek 1 and 2 this year or this month with or to discuss it with Mara. I can remember both of them in my head very easily. But getting back to this though.
Yes.
I can rewatch them or I can watch them in my head. That's how well I know. But
Fair enough.
getting back to this movie, it's a good movie. Yes, it is different, but I kind of think movies are meant to be different than the books, because I have this weird freaking I have this weird theory. What if Hollywood and the soon to be dead Department of Education, what if they had an unwritten rule with each other that you cannot faithfully 100% adapt books and movies to each other because of the whole, if you tell a kid to do a book report, well, and if they watch a 100% faithful adaptation to the movie or to the book, how are you going to tell if they cheated or not? You know?
That's true.
So it's kind of, it has merit, you know? There's a possible merit there. Although 300 release on December 2006 for Butnumathon Festival, while release March 9th. Okay, yeah. Butnumathon? Or whatever. I'm not even going to go there. Too many butts. But anyway. And there was also too many butts in the fucking Beowulf movie. We got to see Anthony Hopkins' ass.
Yeah.
We got to see Beowulf's ass.
Well, CGI'd, but yes.
Yes, CGI ass, obviously, folks. And, well, yeah. Anyway.
We also got to see Grendel's ass and Grendel's mother's ass.
Yeah, I love that. They're stabbing him in the thing, or where his thing should be. Yeah, the groin. And it's like,
no pencil.
He has no pencil. Jinx.
Okay. I want to ask you a question. In terms of Grendel's weakness and what actually defeats him, essentially he has a severely impacted ear, and that's what makes him a giant. And then once Beowulf unimpacts his ear, he shrinks.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a weird Achilles heel. Or in this case would be Achilles eardrum.
His eardrum, his eardrum is basically sticking out of his ear.
Yeah.
And that's basically what sensitive to sound. But yet in between the hall and the cave, you can barely hear what's going on in the meat hall. Once you get in the cave, you can hear you can hear in the what's going on in the meat hall. So it's like, really wouldn't have sold that way, you know?
Well, and let me ask you too, what did you think of the design of Grendel and his mother's lair? Because it looks like the inside of some sort of giant creature, because that looks like a rib cage. I don't know about you, but that looks like a rib cage and a sternum.
Sort of. Yeah, sort of. I thought Grendel was basically ugliness personified, which was very good. He's a monster, you know.
Yeah.
As for Grendel's mother, you don't really see what she looks like.
For real.
For real, except one shot.
Yeah.
And that's when he goes in the first time and he turns around after she speaks and looks, or the camera looks up.
Yeah.
You see her laying there, or you see her flat up against the gold. And then pans away as if he's looking around because he can't see her because, well, she's blended in. And it's like, okay, so yeah, she's she's basically an ichthyological water demon, essentially. She looks like a giant golden fish woman with a tail.
Yeah.
Or with a whip tail. And
well, you do
but
see
yeah.
you do. Well, here's the interesting thing. It's right after Grendel returns to his cave and he's dying. And in the reflection of the water, you do see a portion of her face, and she is hideous.
You also see her when she's talking to him when he comes back too, as well.
Yeah.
From the first time when Hrothgar tried to get him to fight him. And you see her reflection off of a shield. Yeah. But yeah, she's definitely, or you could look her up, folks. They actually have her fully designed, or her full sculpted design out on the internet. But yeah, I like how they are the Anglo or the Old English, because they put in the captions speaking Old English whenever Beowulf, or not Beowulf, but Grendel talks. Now, yes, he is somewhat speaking an older form of English, because she asks him, was Hrothgar there? And he says, I harmed him not. You can actually basically hear him saying, I harmed him not. I harmed him not. I didn't harm him. I didn't touch him. Because she has an agreement that with Hrothgar that Beowulf will not, or that Grendel will not harm him. Or he will menace only the people, not him.
Yeah.
And then after he comes back and to die, he's saying strong, basically, and in describing Beowulf before dropping the name Beowulf. He's saying he was so strong. He took my arm. And it's very easy to understand what he's saying, even if it is in a very old tongue, you know?
Yeah.
And when it comes to Grendel's mother and her vengeance, she slaughters all of Beowulf's men quietly in the night. He wakes up, everybody's fucking dead.
Yep.
And not only that, she did that while entering his dream and trying to seduce him.
Yep.
So yeah, she's playing a mindfuck game while she's casually going around and slaughtering Beowulf's men. That's how crazy that woman is. Crazy powerful that woman is.
She goes. I think the Yautja would be extremely impressed with that level of a kill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she hangs some and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, because she pretty much does to Beowulf's men what the Predator did in the first Predator movie.
Yeah, she hangs them all and slices them all open and whatnot. She doesn't skin them, I don't think, but
no, they've still got their skin, they've still got their armor, but yeah, she hangs them all.
Yep. And it's like, holy shit, yeah. But she kind of reminds me of an anime monster. Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, this movie, the final fight between the dragon and Beowulf.
Oh man,
I love that fight because there's a line he says to Grendel before he takes Grendel's arm. I am Ripper, Slasher, Terror, Gouger.
Yep.
And
I am
here's
the
the thing.
teeth in the darkness.
But in all of those things he describes himself as, he actually does all of that to the dragon.
Yeah.
He's the rips the wing.
Yep.
Gullet. Ripper, Terror, Slashes
Gouger.
open the thing to his heart, and then gouges out the heart.
Yeah. That's hardcore.
So yeah.
That, you know, I'll have to say it because obviously a few years later we would get one of the best dragon fighting dynamics in a video game, of course, that being Skyrim. And in a way, I think the designers for Skyrim took some inspiration from that particular fight for how you fight the dragons in Skyrim. Now, granted, it's not as graphic as it is in Beowulf, because I don't think they wanted to go with that necessarily that graphic, but it's still pretty darn intense. Because every dragon fight, and let's be honest here, every dragon fight in Skyrim, whether it's just some random dragon or a named dragon, it's freaking epic.
Yeah.
And you cannot tell me that the guys at Bethesda did not take some inspiration from that fight sequence between Beowulf and the dragon.
Almost
They
likely
probably
they did.
They probably did.
One of my
They're
favorite bits was underwater, where the dragon's mouth is still on fire and boiling around.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool.
Well, not to mention the fact that that dragon is flying with a massive freaking ship's anchor in his mouth, and Beowulf is hanging on with the freaking chain. And it is so freaking kick-ass.
Yep. And he also has to cut off his own fucking arm just to make sure that he can reach the heart.
Does he cut his arm, or does he just cut the I guess I'm speaking, he did.
No, he cuts his arm off. He keeps the only reason why he's still hanging is because of the chainmail.
Okay. Well, don't forget the joint also, the shoulder joint.
Well, yeah, possibly that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, he basically he realizes he can't reach it unless he does that, and so he's like, "Oh, fuck it." And it's like,
and then the music amps up as he's doing that.
Yeah, it's like, he's back, bitches. Holy shit.
He never really
and
left.
So, so then he rips out fucking hard, and he's like, and he gives that primal scream, and it's like, one last heroic move. Unfortunately, it's also a commitment of filicide. But
well, yeah, in a manner speaking, yes. But you know what, in this case, if my son's a giant dragon and he's terrorizing my kingdom, I'm gonna kill him.
Yep.
If it costs me my own life, I'm gonna kill him. You don't burn down my kingdom. You don't go after my wife. You definitely don't go after my side piece. I'm gonna kill you. You don't go after the citizens of my kingdom and expect me just to sit back and watch as you burn everything I've built. No, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna rip your freaking heart out, and I'm gonna enjoy doing it. The one thing I think would have been actually kind of cool is if Beowulf had actually taken a bite out of the heart and then popped that sucker. That would have been hardcore. But that's just me.
Sure, hardcore, but ill-fitting to it. Ill-fitting. But, yeah, I mean, this movie, I also like how when Hrothgar actually jumps and kills himself, I mean, he's like, oh, she ain't my problem now. She ain't my curse anymore. She's yours. She's like, oh, by the way, everybody, when I die, that's the Beowulf. There you go, buddy. Yeah, good luck. Fuck y'all. I'm out. He just jumps. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Dick move.
Kinda. Now let me ask you, because we really haven't touched on it that much. What did you think of Sir Anthony Hopkins' performance as Hrothgar?
Oh, he was great. I mean, Anthony Hopkins has not done a bad fucking movie, or he has not done a bad fucking role. Whatever role he is put in, he is just fucking awesome.
Well, let me ask you,
Odin be praised, and then he plays Odin later on.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. He actually kind of bemoaned his part as Odin because he's like, it's not really. He thought it's not as
all
really
just
acting.
CGI. Yeah,
Well, you know what? You still delivered, Mr. Hopkins. So just
you
take
did.
take the accolade, take the appreciation from the
Take the
fans,
win.
and just
Yeah.
take the win and just be appreciative.
I'm sure I'm pretty sure he's appreciative. It's just to him personally, he felt like it was or it didn't take much to do.
Yeah, I kind of get that, but at the same time,
I don't think he meant, or I don't think he was doing it as
No.
a slight to anybody,
yeah,
except for how movies are nowadays.
yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay, then I rescind my previous comment.
But yeah, with Anthony Hopkins as the Rothgar, I love that he's like, and did you kill her? Should I regale again how I slayed the monster's mother? Oh, or the ugly beast. And it's like, oh, we both know she's not ugly. Did you kill her? And then he smiles up at him. And it's like, he knows the truth. He knows he didn't. Or he knows Beowulf didn't fucking kill that woman or kill that bitch. It's like,
he knows he did something else to her.
Oh, he slayed, but not in that way.
Well, he impaled her, just not with his sword.
Yeah.
Yes, I went there, and yes, I don't care.
I mean, it's like, oh, it's fine, man. But yeah, it was such a great. Or it's like, but did you kill her? I brought back the monsters or Grendel's head. I felt no need to bring back another one, and it's like, except for the one between your legs. But yeah, and it's still got sea hag goop on it.
That's a
probably
good one.
Got a little bit of rotten. Probably a little rotten. Or that probably explains why the queen never bedded him.
Probably.
Ouch. Oh shit! Roast fest.
Well, let's just say Hrothgar and Beowulf. Maybe sleeping with Grendel's mother made them impotent. Well, no, that wouldn't work because Beowulf
he was still bedding what's her name?
Yeah, the other girl.
The other girl. But it's good to know that the queen had standards. But
yes,
getting back to it. Oh my god, what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. First my brain. Oh fuck, I reset. Anyway. We'll probably start winding it down here. We don't need to go to 2 hours, but next week, folks. Actually Tuesday, I should show you all my thing that I got planned. Tuesday is the madness of Frank Castle.
Ooh,
for March Madness. That will be 1 p.m. And then back with the Barroom podcast. The last 2 weeks I will be going the same time as the Barroom podcast for the singles because I cannot do them on Thursday nights this month, folks. So I do apologize ahead of time. And because my mom's going out of town and I have to pick up my stepbrother when he goes to work, and he sometimes gets out in the middle of my streaming. So, yeah. My brother's girlfriend's having a baby, so my mom needs to go down to basically help her because she's not supposed to be lifting anything heavy. It's risk pregnancy. So, yeah.
She's on extreme bed rest. Yeah.
Essentially. But yes. Anyway, folks, we are going to call it here. Orange Hat Uncensored Friday night, most likely. They have fixed the. Okay, good job. Or thanks to the doctors for fixing Sexy Goth Girl's IV.
Yay!
And thank you to everybody who joined our Kitty Christian Conroy, Vanya Goth Girl, Junebug Fuck Norris, and everybody on our Neozoic as well.
Yep.
And everybody on X. Y'all are freaking amazing and awesome people. So what are we discussing next week? I think we did say we are going to be discussing Dragon Ball Z.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because we don't always have to make it movies, folks. We can make it shows too.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm trying to reach out to Cult Classic Cage, see if she wants to join, because she's also a DBZ fan. I tried reaching out to the DBZ queen, unfortunately, Jasmine, but unfortunately she has a prior engagement. That's okay. But yeah, I'm gonna try to reach out to somebody who also wants. I might reach out to Demogeny.
Yeah,
See if he wants to do, or see if he wants to join, because we're gonna be going, folks. We're anime nerds. You want to see fucking anime nerd?
Yes.
Me, Ambassador, and freaking Demogeny. Damn, folks, we are going to be geeking out.
Now,
Super Saiyan 2.
I will tell you, my knowledge of Dragon Ball Z goes as far as the end of the Frieza storyline, and I know a little bit past that, but I'm not
into the Garlic Jr.
So I didn't get as far as you did, but I have a decent knowledge base.
All right, that's cool.
So
I mean, yeah, we'll talk androids. We'll basically get you up to par, and we'll also.
Well, I know about the Android saga too, but the Cell saga. Yeah, I know about the Cell saga for the most part.
All right, cool. And the Boo saga too. I mean, oh my
that
god,
one I'm
Cell
not.
is where
I know
it peaked.
I know of Majin Buu. I know of the character, but of the specific events within that particular story arc, I'm not super familiar with.
Yeah.
But I know of Majin Buu himself.
Yeah. Well, we will get into it next week, folks.
Yes.
Until then, tomorrow and otherwise, I will be otherwise engaged tomorrow, unless my new headphones come in, and then I can actually do something, because these are killing my head right now. Oh, it's all right. Y'all have a good night, sexy goth girl. Thank you for coming in. Fook Norris, thank you for coming in. And yeah, we will talk DBZ plus whatever crazy ass topics come up over the next week. No longer going to be doing that Park Place articles due to the fact that they are paywalling and shit. I'm sorry, I don't do that. Free press all the way, man.
They're douches.
Yep, that's a douche move. That's a dick move.
They're a Tate level douche, and that's the ultimate douche.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, folks.
Anyway,
thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all have a wonderful day, and always remember, stay humble.
What he?
Are you done? Are you done?